Okay, so last lesson we had a little bit of practice with for loops and we started to use them a little bit. And today what we're going to do is we're going to try and use a for loop with an array. So we're going to iterate around through a list and output something depending on the number that the for loop gives us. So last lesson, just to recap, we basically had a program that had a prompt where we started, and we had another prompt which is where we input a number, and that's where it ended at, and it gave us an output something similar to this. So I put in 1 for start at and to end at 10. So it counted the whole way through, or it iterated the whole way through between 1 and 9. Now the next part with our for loops, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the for loop as a counter, so we can count through the elements of an array. Now remember, computers are really stupid. They start counting at 0 very annoyingly. So whenever we go around with a for loop, we have to start at 0 as well. So what we've got here is I've put some fruits inside a variable: apple, banana, cherry and damson. I'm actually not even sure what damson is, to be honest. But what we're going to do is we're going to output them depending on what number we've got in our for loop. So we've created a variable here called x. We haven't assigned anything to it, we've just said it exists, somehow it exists. So what we're going to do is we're going to say for, and then we can say x equals 0 to start off with. So now we've defined the variable as 0. So this is the start of our for loop. Then over here we've got, basically we're saying continue to do this while while x is smaller than 4. Every time it goes round we want to add 1, so this first plus means add, the second plus means 1, so add 1 to x. So the first time this goes round, x will be 0, the second time it will be 1, third time 2, and so on and so forth. Now what we're going to use, what we're going to do is we're going to use the number x, or the number inside x, as the index number for our list. So what we've got here is document.write fruits. Now these square brackets mean in the position. So if you can imagine, this is saying fruits in the position of x. Inside x we have a number. So it actually says fruits in the position of 0, which is apple, because remember this is 0, 1, 2, 3. Then we've said just add a break, or br just means break, so a line break after it, so the next time it comes around it goes onto the line below. So what we've got here is the first time it goes round it should write apple, followed by a line break. Then the next time it goes round, x is still 0, so x is under 4, then we add 1 to x, so it becomes 1. Document.write fruits in the position x, or in the position 1 now, so it should write out banana with a line break, and it goes round again, adds 1 to x, so x becomes 2, so it should write cherry, and finally 3. So it will continue to do this around and around. So here's what I want you to do. Using the codes in front of you, I want you to make your own variable. You don't need to fill it with fruits, you can fill it with whatever you like. Favourite teachers, for example, or you might have a hobby such as collecting keyboards, I don't know. Put whatever you like in there and you're going to make it iterate or loop around continuously. Then, once you're finished, you're going to come back to this video. So for now, what I'd like you to do is hit the pause button. Okay, so now what we've got is a for loop, and it goes through our list of whatever you chose to do yours on. But at the moment it's not very clever because, well, let's say we add to our list, it's only going to print the first 4 unless I go through and I manually change it so that the 4 goes to whatever the number is inside the list. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a statement in which should make our list automated, or should make our for loop automated. So at the bottom we've got var(x) equals fruit.length. So this part down here is what I want you to add. Now all it means is you're going to replace this variable x here with this part here. So what we're saying is variable x equals, and then we're saying whatever the fruits is, whatever the length of fruits is, so the number of elements inside fruits, that's going to give us a number. In this case it will give us the number 4, and it's going to store the number 4 inside the variable x. We then print out fruits x and a line break. So it will go through same as it did before, except every time we add something or add another element to our list or our array, we don't have to update our for loop. It does it by itself. It's autonomous, which is useful. So guys, it's time to hit the pause button. I know you love this. Okay, so now we've used the normal for loop, we're also going to add in another function. It's kind of a function. It's literally the word in. Now what in does is it automatically works out how many items are in a list for us. So what we've got down here is, well, basically a template you might recognize. It's exactly the same for while and for if statements, except we've got the word for. So for, and then we've got our brackets, which is where the test is happening, for counter in fruits. Now what in fruits does is it automatically works out the length of our list. So for example, in this list we've got 4, so in fruits works out that we want the number 4. So whatever we use as our counter name, we've been using x, you could use whatever you like. It's just a simple variable. It starts off at 0 and it counts through until it matches the number of items in our list. Every single time it goes through, it executes the statement. So what we've got here is variable fruits equals apple, banana, cherry and damson. Again, whatever the hell that is. Variable x, we've created the variable x. For x in fruits, so what that means is start the counter at 0 and continue going until you match the number of items in fruits, which is 4. So let's start at 0. Document.write fruits at position x, or 0. So it outputs apple first. Then it goes round, it adds 1 to x, so now x has become 1. And now we output fruits in the position x, or number 1. So banana. And it keeps doing this until it gets to 3. Fruits, x, we're now at number 3, so it outputs damson. Now x goes up to 4. Now 4 matches the length of fruits, so it exits the program, or it exits the for loop. Now what I want you to do is basically copy this script, but I want you to use this array, aquatics, alligator and so on, and I want you to output that list as it goes through. And that's it. So if you have any questions, I'll be on Google Meets. You can comment below on the video, on Google Classroom, so on, so on, so on, so on.